Hi, welcome back. It's Storyteller Bat Die Pot Day today. So I went on to Patreon and I put Topic of the Week up last week, which was our first week of Woolly Cottage Studio on there. And I put a Topic of the Week up for you guys to come up with 3 base colours that I can use to then base some pictures around to interpretate a main set of colours into 3 unique coloured bats. Okay, and the reason I call them storyteller bats is because I'm literally translating how I look at those pictures and how I'm gonna blend them up and make them look completely unique. Sometimes I'll get a collection of, say, photographs of different woodlands and countrysides, and it'll be the countryside bat, and it could be flower bouquets or wedding pictures or something like that, and I'll create it that way around. So excuse this dog, I get no peace. Yes, I know, I see you, and stop it now. So yeah, I've lost my train of thought. So that's really the gist of what a storyteller bat is. It could be based on colours, it could be based on themes, but I generally try and do it so it's all in one pot, one base colour with complementary colours either side, and then diverge from that, and I'll show you now. So there were some entries, thank you very much for that, but you've left us with a draw. What is it we use, guys? I always end up having to make the last vote. Right, so we had this one entry in, and it was red, pink and orange with a base colour. So I have gone with red, orange and pink, and it's actually in this. There should be a red here and then the yellow on this side with orange and pink in there. Okay, but then I've spread it over a little bit to this one. And I'll pop the pictures up so you can see them properly in detail at the end of this video. So yeah, there you've got the red there, but it's more of a pinky red. Then you've got a peachy orange and yellow, and then there's really faint pink, more of a nude, and then you've got this slate grey at the top. And then this one I've got a completely different opposite spectrum. So you've got a coral red there, you've got more of a coral pink there, and then a peachy coloured. Then there's very off cloud sky white, a dusky blue, and then a darker dusky blue. So that's where we've gone. That's where I went on those. Okay, maybe you get the gist of what it is that I mean about diverging the colours. It's all dependent on what's in your stash as well, and I'll talk you through that in another section of this video. So the next colourway that was opted for was green, silver and gold. So I came up with, this was my first image. This is the birch trees in the woods with the bright yellow leaves of autumn. So you've got gold, silver and green. So you've got the green in the grass, you've got the white and silver on the birch trees, and then you've got the gold of the trees up top. But I have gone a darker version of that. You've got this dark green, a mid-grey, then there's this golden yellow, and there is a dusky like off-white up the top there on this one. And then this one I've just stayed with the 3 really plain colours. You've got this gorgeous mid-grey, and then you've got this dusky off-white, and then this more dusky yellow tone in that one. Okay, next one was a late comer. No votes put on it, but it did make it in there last night. I did add the pictures in on Patreon if you want to go and have a look at it on the colour option votes. And this one was mint, old gold and raspberry. Okay, so you can see where I've gone with this. I'm just trying to look, I can't try and get into to have a look myself. So where was the first one? I think it was this one, but I went with a no, it's this one down here. So you've got this mint here, then this off-white, then a pink, a lighter version of raspberry and a darker version of raspberry. And then this one up here, I've got antique gold, a softer creamy gold, off-white, dusky pink, or it's a dusky raspberry, and a more of a pistachio dusky green. And then this one down here, you've got this orangey raspberry colour, raspberry, sorbet raspberry, cream, and then there's really soft gold in this one. So you've got the different versions of it. So you've got this one with the main colours in it, then it diverges off more to do with the pinks with a more bluey green, mint green, or more of a spearmint, and then this one without the green in it at all, just mostly pinks and then the gold. Okay, here's the problem, children. Okay, so we had 2 votes on this one. the problem children. Honestly, the lot of yous. So considering there was 5 colours and 4 people voted. Come on. Right, so we've got blue, yellow and natural grey is what they're saying. So greys really. But this one was Lizzie's picture, and she mentioned maybe using a Blueface Leicester or a Corriedale. That's where she was thinking with these greys. So where have we got? Right, so we've got, there we go. So we've got a very dark charcoaly blue, a very dusky bluey teal, and then you've got this mossy colour. And then what colour is that there? That's a blue as well. And then we've got this yellowy citric colour. Then we've got this one down here, which has got the blues shades going into the grey. And then you've got the tones of yellows. So these are the colours that she asked for. And this is me going off on a divergent and using the same colour options, but more going the really dark, moody versions. And then this one down here, you've got like a dusky blue teal. It's more blue, a duck egg blue. You've got this golden yellow, and you've got this lichen colour, and then you've got a very dark tealy blue, and then a dark navy blue. Okay. Now, this is the other one that got 2 votes. This is Sandra's option, and it's charcoal, grey and burgundy. And this one again got 2 votes on it. Okay. Now, for some reason, I've chopped out the colours that were in there. So you have got a dusky pink up here. Then you've got an aubergine, a very more purpley based grey. Then there was a charcoal grey. And I think up here was more of a plummy colour. Okay. This one, again, so its colours chopped out. But this one was a mid-grey. It had a bit of burgundy in it, but more of an orangey coloured base with that as well. And then you've got this one. No, there it is here. You've got the beige, goldy colour. Then you've got this reddy, more, I can't think of it, more of a poppy red, but not quite as dark. You've got this pinky colour, then you've got this golden colour, and then you've got this slate grey down the bottom, and then you've got this dahlia here, which was a burgundy, more of a reddy burgundy tinge. Then you've got, I think it's dark green, it's more of a really dark bottle green. Then you've got this aubergine brownie coloured red in there, like a plummy colour. And then we have got a very, very dark coffee bean colour on that one. So if it was left to me and I had the deciding vote, this is the one I'd go for. But it's not down to me. So what I've done, stop it dog, is cut up 4 pieces of paper, and I have written the 2 votes of burgundy and greys on 2 pieces of paper. Honestly, people, get a grip. Next month I'll be expecting better off you. And then 2 pieces of paper with blue, yellow and grey written on it. And I've put that in there. I should really put a blank one in where Joe gets the deciding vote, honestly. So they're all in there, look, all folded up inside this flaming bowl. I wish you lot would all learn to vote, I tell you. Okay, lucky dip. Okay, so the one that's going to win this month's colour option blue, yellow and grey. Fine. It was down to the will gods, everybody. So tough. If you want me to go for the oranges one, you're going to have to next time vote for it. Right, there we go. So that's the colour options that we're going for this time. It's going to make my job a little bit harder in the sense of I can't just dye a batch of yellow up because it would do fine for both colours, pictures, but I can't quite do that for this one. So now I'm going to have to find, I'm going to probably end up dyeing a citric green or an olive green to go with these, but I don't need a lot of it on here, so I have to be really careful. Then I've got this turquoise colour that I need to look for, this duck egg blue, and a dusky blue and 2 dark blues. Now that's fine, I can do that. That blue there looks, I might be able to swap them around, but we'll have a look and we will talk about the stash box on the second part of this video, okay? Because I'm filming this on 2 days. So it'll be released on Friday, Friday, guys. Okay, so this is Dye Pot Thursday. So now what I need to think about is how what colours I need to dye up to go with this one, because I need a lot more colours to dye up rather than if it was, say, the one that you voted for. You made my life so much harder not voting for that exact one. Okay, so this one I could have probably got away with actually dyeing the dark plummy colours, the aubergines, and doing a really decent batch of different coloured wools in the main colours on these. And this one here, I've got that colour there and there. And I think that colour as well relates to this one. So they made it a lot easier. And all I would have had to have done is go rooting through my stash to look for colours that are in the bottom of these. But no. Next month, everyone vote or you're not going to get your discount codes. That's what I'm saying on it. Right, so this one I really need to think. I really need to have a think about this and what colours I'm going to dye up. So what I also wanted to talk to you about today, change the subject, Joe, change the subject, was where do you go looking for your inspiration? So I've shown you how simple it is to think of, to go rooting through your stash and come up with some colour ideas and find a picture, an image that you like the look of and it has the colours in there that you really wanted. So say for talk's sake, I had, what have we got up here? If I had, I've got rovings up here. I'm just trying to think of grabbing one. Right, we'll go for this old stalwart, okay? So it's got purple, pinks, and peachy orange in there. And we're going to go on the computer. There's actually more of a neon orange in there as well. We'll go onto the computer and I'll show you just my usual go-to. There are other ways, other platforms, different ways, and we'll talk about that each month as it go along. There's no point ladling you down with lots of information all in one go. We're just little bite sizes at a time so you can digest the information that I'm going to pummel at you. Oh dear. Okay, so give us a second. I'll turn you around and we can look at the laptop and we will go and do a little bit of search. Okay, so in front of the little computer, I'll just go in there. So I'm going to open up a fresh page. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in violet purple, comma, peach and rose pink. Then I'm going to type in colour palette, like that. Okay, and I'm going to ask it to go looking. Okay, now what you want to do is go click on images and it will give you loads of different ideas. So you could go down this route of looking for dusty purples, wedding colours, that emphasises more gold, that one goes towards more mauve, a peach, rose gold, reds, dusty rose. Well, we're not going down that route. We are just going to look at these. So this not really give me what I was looking for, but the reason I'm writing that in, type those options in, is this roving here. If I wanted to blend it up, but I didn't want them all to be these colours, or I wanted other colours to help me highlight what's being blended, and it's a really good option to go looking at stuff like this to see if there's other colours that you might not have thought of. So it's not really giving me the spectrum of colours that I have got on this roving. It's gone more at the violet purple, which is not what I was looking for. So I'm just going to scroll down and see if there's anything close or resembling what I've typed in and asked. Wedding peach and purple colour combinations. No, that's not helping. So the other alternative is, this reminds me of a sunset. So what I could do instead, I'll come out, I'll sweep that out. And if I type in sunset, again, colour palette, still on images. There we go. We've got now the colours that this makes me think of. And this is generally the spectrum where we're at with this roving. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit and see if anything pops up that I like the look of that will help me make this turn into something else, which is what I'm thinking of, without it looking like the usual Shepherd's Delight sort of colours. Now, this one's quite nice. This is darker versions of the one I've already got. This one here. So it's got the skyline where it graduates and changes colour throughout, and it has got the golden yellow in there, or what mine is more of a peachy colour. And then we go into this hot orange, then we go into this lovely plummy purple colour, then we've got the violet that I was using, but then it brings in a blue and a darker blue, which is perfect because if I say I've got those colours in my stash, that means I can add them in to give this another dimension. Okay, there's even what looks like a really subtle black and a silhouette of a boat in that picture as well. So that would really help me be able to come up with an idea to go looking through my stash, see if I've got any of these colours, and maybe look, see if I've got this more plummy purple colour, plummy red, and then use that in there. And it could come in all sorts. It could come in rovings that you've already got, that you've bought, that are dyed up, or out of your stash that you've dyed yourself. It could come from maybe you've ordered and have in your stash, say bamboo or tussar silk or mulberry silk that's already been dyed when you've bought them. Or something like you've been and ordered mixed coloured rovings. Something like, oh, I'll just grab these just for an example that you can use to bring another dimension. Okay, so something, let me bring you around a little bit so you can see it better. Something like that, because it's got lots of different colours in there, would go fantastic. And it's got the plummy colour in there, it's got more of the red tones in there, it has got hints of green in it, but they do actually dissolve through. Unless I was using green, then they would pop out more. But because I've not got green in this, there'll only be highlights of them, but it'll give another unique dimension to it. It's got goldy orange in there, it's got the deeper orange in it as well. So there's another alternative. Or you might have bought something like this, multicoloured merino roving. That's just an example of the type of things that you can buy, which are really handy for for blending up with your hand dyed wools. So you can incorporate different colours, different tones, and different looks into your blended wools on your back. Okay, let's see if we can find another picture. Just to give you an example, shall we type in sunset palette? If we go down this route, I'll turn your back round again so you can see what I'm doing. If I type in, get rid of sunset, and if I typed in city colour palette, there we go, loads of different colours on there, and you literally just click and save them to, I mean, if you do it on your phone, it's so much easier than doing it on here, but just click and save the pictures to your computer, your laptop, or whatever, and create a montage collage of pictures that you can always reference to. You can always delete them later on anyway. This is a good one. There, can you see? So you've got this city, metropolitan city, and in here it's got lots of different colours that you may want to use. Really dark, more of a slate blue. Then you've got a dusky blue here, one that's a little bit shade darker. Then you've got these mushroom colours, a mushroom brown, you've got these darker greys, you've got these nude colours, which just shows that if you've got even nude, coffee, a couple of different tones of blues in there, a dark blue and a charcoal blue, and blend them all together, you could create that on there. And this one, because the green is in the middle, I would do it as probably more of a mirror image blended art back, where I start with, say, like I've got these 4 colours, so I would start on one side of my drum card with, just for talk's sake, this colour. Then I would do this colour on either side of my drum card, and I will show you how to do this at some point over time. And then I'll do my second layer either side of my drum carder, and then work my way into the center with this color, and then this one with my center color. Or I would probably put this one on the outside because the blue's there, and then I would probably go with this color next, and then maybe that color, and have the green in the middle because the green is in the middle. Who knows? And then I would do highlights of this darker slate gray and add in more of the blue, and then maybe some of the mushroom color. But that's just for talk's sake. You don't have to go with color palette. There's actually other ones that you can go looking for, like Pinterest is a good site to go and have a look at pictures on there as well. But we'll go and have a search on Pinterest at another time when we're doing the next lot. You've got this lovely one here. It made a gorgeous color gradient bat, a color fade. So you've got this really dark midnight purpley blue. Then you've got this violet blue, violet color, which is a really bright, vivid color. Then you've got this more dark lilac, and then you've got this really soft lavender, and then you've got this looks like a very soft bluey white color. So yeah, there's lots of different options. Just go looking online, put in a couple of colors that you've got a lot of in your stash. Just like go for a 3 base colors, or even just the one. You could literally just type in come out of that, you could literally type in for putting blue color palette, and search, and there we go. But it doesn't just give you blues, right? You can have blues in there, and it's giving you lots of different ways of adding blues together. Okay, the different ratios of concepts and different shades and things like that, which is brilliant. You've got these dark images here with the 2 different dark blues, mid blue, light blue, and a white blue. You could alternatively go back up to here, where this bar here is along this bit, and go, right, well, I fancy some green and blue. Not one of my best sellers, but it's a nice way to look at it. Here we go. So we've got green and blue here on that colour. That's really, really nice. Quite a pretty looking one. It looks like, really, you've got this band here, and then there's trees. It looks like an anchor. What else could you go for? You could go and keep on going. Now this one's done what I do, and it's gone out the concept a little bit. It has still got the blues, but that's a delphinium blue. And then that's a baby blue eyes in Dharma dyes, and that definitely has got to be the sea spray. Then we've got a nude, which you could use a sand colour, and then that one would be the sand dunes. So those, I can already see the dyes that I would use to create that colour band. What else have we got? Oh, this is quite interesting. So designing technology that transforms, green-blue colour palette for websites. And that's on Colubri WP blog. And this one's got loads of different colours that you could actually use as inspiration. You've got this, I would say it's more blue than it is teal. Then you've got this teal here. Then you've got this moss green, navy blue, and a very subtle blue-white colour. Okay. Come down a little bit more. Well, there we go. Peacock's feather. So again, you've got the dark blue, and then you've got this mossy green. You've got this dusky blue. Then it goes into a really vivid violet, and then you've got this heather purple. What else can we find in the blue spectrums? As in, like, they're pushing out the comfort zone a little bit and going a bit more abstract. This is a lovely one. There we go. Thunderstorms. So you've got a midnight blue, you've got a really dark petrol blue, then you've got this really dusky seal blue, a softer ice blue, and then you've got a very tiniest hint of a silver grey, which has got a purple backdrop to it. It's got like a purple undertone, just the way that the base has been made. And you'll find that with greys, that they do have different base layers of how they've been created. What else have we got? Anything else coming out from the blues? This one here, that's quite sweet. So this has got a very soft pink orchid. then it's got a very soft duck egg blue, and then there is an REF grey, and then an REF blue, and then it's got this really dark purple in there as well. Right, lift it up. There you go. So I hope that helped with you just feeling a little bit of inspiration. Go and have a look around in your stash, your wools that you've got at home, wools that you've bought from people, especially wools like, hold on a second. If you've bought, this is a 50 gram roving, but if you've bought 100 gram roving from somebody and it's come like this, just type in the colours that are on this and you want to blend with it on your drum card or on your blending board. Type in the colours that you can see. That's more of a persimmon, and then you've got this chili red, and then you've got this aubergine colour. Type the colours in on colour palette just to get you started. Look, click on images, and then find something that inspires you to go and blend with it. Just have a rootle through your stash boxes, your baskets, or wherever you've got all your wills stowed away that you keep buying and promising yourself you're going to do something with it, and then have a go and blend it all together. Look at the picture and the way that it outlines, and I'll explain that as we're talking about doing the storyteller bats as we go on. And I will give you little tips. I won't give too much away because at the end of the day, I am a business. But this is just a way for you to get a bit more detailed information than what I normally do when I'm on YouTube. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is pop off, go and get my stock dyed up, and then I will be back to show you how to do solid coloured dye in your dye pots downstairs. Okay, so I'll catch you in a little while and I'll go on and get on with this. Go and grab yourself a cup of coffee. Okay, so we're down the stairs now. I'm just getting the dye pots ready for these 3 colourways that I'm gonna dye for. But I'm also got in this tub here, in this bowl, there is unbleached Tussar silk. Okay, it's been sat in a bowl of water. Ideally you want to do it for at least 12 hours to overnight. Okay, also I've added in a rose fibre, which is a plant-based fibre. It's done in a cellulose. I'll look into more information on that and see what I can get, and I can have a chat with you about it some other time. So it's been put in a warm water bowl with a touch of washing up liquid, just so it helps with the dye pigment to be able to attach to the fibres, especially the plant-based one. You don't have to do it with silks, but I do find it helps. And if you don't want to use the washing up liquid, you just want to use water, just leave it in a bowl of water for as long as possible, preferably 12 hours, as I say, or overnight. You want the fibres, the reason you want to do that is because the fibres, they take a little while to saturate the liquid. You don't want to put them in a tiny bowl because that just compresses the fibres. You want to leave it in a bowl where it's got some liquid that can swish around in it. It's the same sort of theory as well when you're dyeing fibres in a big pot. So you want to leave it in the water, let it steep, let the moisture actually penetrate into the silk fibres, and you'll see a difference. If you do a trial yourself, get some Tussar silk, split it up into sections, soak one for an hour, soak one for 6 hours, do one for 8 hours, and do one overnight, and then you'll see the difference in how much dye they'll actually saturate when you put them in the pot. Okay, so in there now, this is a 10 litre, just a big stainless steel, heavy bottomed, like soup pot. There's 5 litres of water in there, so it's up to halfway, okay, in my pot. I've also added in a dye from Dharma, and it says Grey G. There's a couple of different dyes that you could get hold of that have this G on the end of it, and it's a fast fixing type of dye. It's really, really strong. It's one of the truest greys that I can get hold of, and it really is my favourite to use at the moment. And it's brilliant for superwash wools as well, because of the way that they've been treated. So I'm just going to go and get my wool and stick that in the pot now. So there is my wool, and I'm using a merino with Tencel blend in there. And the reason I've put so much liquid in there, you're wondering why, is so that the fibres, hold on a minute, you've got all foggy, hold on a minute, there you go. So the fibres of the wool will be able to float around and open up and stretch. And there's only about 60-70 grams of wool in this pot that's in that dye. If you overcrowd it with say 150-200 and you've only put 5 litres in there, then it's not going to be able to penetrate. The fibres are still going to be all squished up. If you want to put in that amount, I would go to about 3/4 way full in your dye pot. The citric acid's already in there, and I'm just going to leave that. See how it just floats around and the water just penetrates in with the dye stock solution straight into that fibre. There is no white bits in there at all. Obviously the fibre hasn't penetrated it completely yet, but it will do, and it'll look really dark in about 10-15 minutes time. So I'm just going to leave that to do its thing for the moment, and we'll come back to the next stage. So there is the dark grey dye dot from that grey pigment that I've got. Now if you look, there's still a lot of dye stock in there, and because I want a mid grey, I've just done a test dye. I'm going to put in my other Rovin straight in to the last of that stock, A, to try and get rid of some of the dye stock solution, but B, to get me that mid grey that I want on one of the other bats. I'm not going to leave it in there for a long time because I don't want it really dark, but I'm going to give it enough time just to penetrate into those fibres to give me a mid grey look. So if I pull it out now, you can see I've nearly got the colour, but I'm just going to give it a few more minutes in the dye pot to get a bit of better dark solution that the acid dye is going to strike and stick to that wool. But I'll literally only leave that in there for a few minutes, and then that will go in the sink. And I think those few minutes are just about up, because when the solution starts to run out of the wool, you've got this lovely soft light grey that I'm looking for. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to pop that straight in the sink, and we'll be back with what I'm going to do with the silk and the rose fibres. Right, so there is a clean stock pot of water, okay, and I'm just going to get a dash of dye pigment. This is chartreuse that I've used. It's a Dharma dye again, and I'm just going to give that a swirl around. It's on a quick boil at the moment. I've added in my citric acid as well. I'm just waiting for that to melt down, but that'll do its thing. And then I'm going to add in Tissa Silk, and I like it when it's got a pot that's not got lots of stuff in, so the fibres can swim around, unravel themselves, open up a little bit. There we go. Your silk won't felt in this, don't worry about it. And I'm just going to let that penetrate into those fibres, and I'll end up with a more solid colour in my silk. And then I'm going to do the same with the rose fibre. Now that that's done in there, I'm going to grab the rose fibre and I'm going to add that into my pot now, and I'll end up with a lighter shade in this than the first striking of this one. See, look at that. The silk has already got that dye pigment, whereas this rose fibre, once it's swirled around a little bit, will have a very paler look to it. So I'm just going to leave them both in there for a few minutes, and then we'll do another colour. So there we go. There is the Tissa Silk dyed up in this chartreuse. There is the rose fibre a couple of shades later, and I had some wool left over that I've just used to soak up the last of that actual dye stock solution. Okay, so the next one we're going to go for is a moss green, and we're just going to dye up the Tissa Silk in this one. Move that out of the way. So we go, moss green in the pot. I'm going to add in the Tissa Silk. I'm going to make sure it gets a good swish around. Oh, you're going all foggy again. just move around in that space and it will soak up that mossy green dye. So that'll take a few minutes. There we go. You don't want the water bubbling in a boil like that, really. You want it so it's on a light simmer. There's a bit of movement in the water, that's fine, but you don't want a rolling boil. You want a nice gentle simmer on the water, and that's a perfect temperature for doing any type of dyeing at all. So there we go, already the moss green is done. So what I've done now is added in a touch of teal and a touch of a blue, because I want to dye this Twisted Silk, and I've got a little bit of wool still left over that I need to dye, and this is the sort of colour I want. But because I'm just playing with the two colours being mixed in together, I'm using the silk to see if it's the colour, using the silk to see if it's the colour that I'm looking for. And it is, I quite like that, that's the one I want. So I'm just going to grab the wool that I've got left over and I'm going to fling that in with it. There we go. So more or less both be the same shade. That's still got plenty of room to swim around in that. Just make sure that the colours, see the dye pot's nearly gone already, but I'm really happy with that colourway. Just give that a few minutes. This is done. There we go. Like a tealy blue, a dusky tealy blue. That was the colour I needed for one of those colour images. And this merino I'm quite happy with, even though there's a little bit of a light spot there. I'm happy with that. It's getting blended up anyway. I just wanted a highlight colour for blending up in these bats. Turn that off. So there we go. So that's the dye part done now. They'll go in the sink and a dash of fabric conditioner to swill off and neutralise the wool from the citric acid that was in there. Citric acid you can get from any cleaning departments. I think you can get small tubs out of Home Bargains. They've started selling them if you don't want to spend a lot of money now. They're under £2 for a small tub on the cleaning section. Otherwise, you go onto Amazon, you can get big kilo bags, 500 grams, whatever you fancy. You can get that. It's food safety, food standard. You can use it for making bath bombs and other bits and pieces. You use it for cleaning with as well. So it's a food grade. It's not actually a acid. It's not going to do you any damage, okay? It makes your skin a bit dry and it takes the nutrients out your fingernails, but it's not bad for your health, though you don't want to drink it, okay? I know. With the water afterwards, once it's been saturated and the water's clear, let it cool right down. It is safe enough to put down your drain if you're in the UK. Otherwise, other places in the country, I'm not quite sure. But personally, there's plants out in your garden that you can use that like an acid water, like pine trees, fir trees. I think buddleias could be affected with the colour as well. You can change a pink flower into a blue flower depending whether it's alkaline or acidic. Use it for in your garden. There is a old plant, is it a magnolia? Not a magnolia, it's an Indian one. Phil, can you remember the name of it? The one that's at the end of Millie's old garden. Oh God. I'm asking Phil. You know when we go on the Lal Ratty and your mum always goes on about with those big shrubs along the... Oh, God. Not hydrant. Rhododendrons. Rhododendrons love citric. They love citric soil. Go, if you've got one of those, or if your neighbour's got one of those, go and pop over with your cool down water of citric acid water and say to them, here, go and stick this on your flowers. They'll appreciate it. So, yeah. So there are alternative ways to get rid of it. Yeah, the amount that you're going to use at home, it's not going to be masses. It's not going to put a dent into the ecosystem. Just swill it out and put it down your garden. Okay, right, so that's me off now. The blending we will do tomorrow, so I'll catch you on part 2 of this video. and we will talk about how I'm going to get started, how I'm going to pick the colours out, and yeah, we'll see what the wools are like that I've dyed up today, and the silks and how they've dried up. And then next week it will be the beginning of the blending videos. So I'll see you in a bit. On that thought, if you don't have a garden and you live in an apartment or something like that, you can neutralise the acid water, okay, with bicarbonated soda. So your basic cooking, cleaning stuff, okay, the little pots, sticking a couple of spoonfuls of that into the leftover stock water in your pot or in your trays. That will neutralise that water and take out the acidity and turn it back into an alkaline base, okay? Again, stick it in your garden if you've got one. If not, then it will be safe to go down the sink into the usual sewage systems. There you go. So, next day. Oh, it's chilly. We've got Storm Isa coming this weekend. Oh, the joys. Right, so this is the Tussah silk that dyed up yesterday. Okay, look how bold that's come out because of the process that I did. There's still a little bit of white patches in there, but there is another way that we can do this, and I will show you that some other time, probably when the weather's a little bit better. This is the rose fibre that I did. Look how lovely that's come out. Okay, so it is possible to do acid dyes with plant-based fibres. Here is some more Tussah silk, and there is another one that I think is actually down the stairs, but I'll look that out later on when I go to do these blendings. Okay, so that's the Tussah silk, but I did say that I didn't mind that it had sections where it not completely struck strongly, but it has dyed the fibre. And then there was merino tencel blend that I did when I threw it in to just saturate the last of the dye stock in there with a lichen dye, okay, which I need for one of the pictures anyway. There is the blue that I did when I just flung it in the pot with this, which is another picture. There is the soft grey that I used to saturate the dye out the pot, and there is the dark grey, that grey G. Okay, so those are the ones I dyed up yesterday. Now the next part of the video, which will come next week, part 1, and then the following week's part 2, and then the following week after that is part 3. And then I'll be putting a Q&A up for you, probably over the weekend, for you to ask any questions, any queries, throw things at me at your will. It could be about anything fibre related or about what we're doing at the moment. And then at the after the third video, I will do a video with the Q&As, which I'd really appreciate it, because I just think it'd be a really good way to be able to interact with you guys on this platform. So yeah, so that's the colours I've got to do. Now I've got to go and pop off, and I will talk you through on the next 3 videos me looking through my stash, looking at the pictures and comparing. There may be alterations in colours, because you'll always find that you'll never have the exact perfect colour that maybe is on an image that you want to use, but you've got something that's near to it. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll maybe add in some textures. I might change my mind halfway through and decide that I didn't want the lichen green in this picture, because even though I've dyed it for that specifically, and maybe I thought a darker green might be more suited. Who knows? So yeah, that's what the next lot of videos will be about. So I hope you do enjoy them and you get a lot from them. I know that I'm getting really good feedback saying that they really enjoyed the Dye Pot Thursday last week, and that they've learned so much from that, which I'm really glad. We will get into more details as further down the line we go, and we'll be doing these storyteller bats for at least the next 6 months. And then I'll put it down to public vote if you want me to carry on for the rest of the year and just have this as this year's topic, and then maybe next year broach more into actual dyeing and getting a little bit more technical on that and using different things to dye on, like warp and yarns and that sort of thing. But that's for 6 months time. So get your heads together, have a think about it, and then maybe you might want to, as I say, just keep this going for the 1 year, and then like a bit like a Batty Club, keep the theme going for a year, and then we learn more as we go along. Maybe get into more technical aspects of different ways to actually blend up wools and the styles that you get. Anyway, she's going off on one again. So that's me for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the next 3 installments for this month's Storyteller Bats, which is based on this picture here. It's going to pop up in a second. Okay, and that's the theme. It is yellow, grey and blue. that was picked out the draw, because you guys are useless. And next time, do your voting, because I don't want to do it. And I will actually put up a colour prompt or whatever theme that we've got going on for the next Storyteller Bat and join in with it as well, I think. Anyway, I'm off. Take care of yourselves, and I shall catch you up next week. Bye for now.